maybe this is why I feel that way, or oh, maybe that's why I feel that way, or maybe I don't truly feel that way at all. I just was so uncomfortable going there that I didn't allow myself to walk it through. Journaling can be such an important tool to utilize so that you can externalize information in your head. It can be so important sometimes to get what's in here out there and in a space that's comfortable, in a space where you can process your emotions and where there's not a lot of feedback or fixing from anyone else. There's a time and place for everything. And sometimes there's a time and place for us to sort through our emotions by ourselves. And I think journaling is such an important way to do that, to really gather your thoughts and understand what's inside of you and what you want to say when the time does come to communicate. So I think one intimidating factor with journaling is trying to get it right. People say, well, I don't have the right book, or I scribble a lot of stuff out, or sometimes it feels weird trying to solidify those words and write things because it's not necessarily true. And I agree. I think that it can feel weird, but I think that's the point of it. Cross things out, scribble things out. It doesn't have to be perfect. The point is to lay your thoughts outside of you. And when you do that, it can almost spark inside of you this, is that really how I feel? You're faced with your feelings once you write it down. So that's such an important part of journaling is being faced with your feelings and really trying to lay it out for yourself and sitting with that uncomfortability, sitting in whatever those emotions are, because it's so easy to just repeat things in your head without trying to make sense of things outside of that. So journaling gives yourself an opportunity to put what's in your head on paper and to really see and feel out your emotions and what's true. I use true loosely because nothing has to be solidified. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be perfect. The point is to just see your emotions more clearly. And I think also a modern way of journaling is video logging, which is something that I used to enjoy doing, but now in this season, a lot of things have kind of slowed down for me in terms of doing those extra parts and bits. Since I've been pregnant, there's just been a different way of me kind of processing information. But I do think video logging is so important, or journaling. But I think what video logging can do is once you start talking those things out without that pressure to be correct with a friend, right? Or that pressure to get it right, and just kind of that level of exploration with yourself of saying how you feel and kind of laying it all out there. It's just such a great um, thing that you can do and provide that space for yourself. That selfish space is what I like to call it because it's all about you in that moment. You're walking through your thoughts, your feelings, exploring those things, and really allowing yourself to be faced with that, to say it out loud, to kind of make it a little bit more real. And I find what that does for me is it helps me sift through all of the jumbled up feelings up here and kind of sift through it and get to the root of what the issue is. Like, oh, maybe this is why I feel that way, or oh, maybe that's why I feel that way, or maybe I don't truly feel that way at all. I just was so uncomfortable going there that I didn't allow myself to walk it through. So I think it's important to get your emotions out on paper, out on video. You can crumble it up, you can delete it or go back to it. But the first step is just really allowing yourself to sit in those emotions. And another misconception is only doing those things in difficult seasons. I think it's important to always, process through your emotions, even if it's a great time and a great day. Go ahead and get in the habit of getting a feel for your emotions. I think that I'm pretty in tune with my emotions. I would hope that I am while I'm trying to work in my career of helping other people sift through theirs. But it's so important to stay in tune with how you feel and who you are and what's going on inside of you so that You don't project and take things out on other people that's inside of you that you haven't addressed yet, right? Things that bother you, um, so that you're not, you know, tainting and harming relationships because of unprocessed feelings or unspoken words. Like it's so important to work through offenses and feelings and confusion. And I don't think it has to be some exhausting thing of you keeping it inside your body and your mind all day, but there can be a compartmentalization factor of, tonight I'm gonna process through these feelings. I'm gonna write them down. Or on Wednesday, I'm gonna process through all that stuff. Just a habit of maintaining your mental health and your emotional space is so important. So I'm totally an advocate for either journaling or video logging, and it doesn't have to be extensive. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be paragraphy. Sometimes you can just write bullet points too in a journal of feelings, like feeling afraid because of this, feeling this because of that. It doesn't have to be um, this completely long narrative of everything. That's why I kind of like video logging better because my wrist gets tired, and journaling can get kind of long, but it's important to pick one or the other. Video logging, journaling, it's so important. Both of those things to me are mirrors that just help you pause, reflect, and kind of gain some introspection to what's inside of you. I especially recommend these tools for people who are uncomfortable with their emotions, who feel overwhelmed easily, for people who avoid self reflection. These tools are especially important because it gets you in the habit of not being so afraid of what's natural. Emotions are natural, feelings are natural, confusion and thoughts are natural. And if you never address those things again, it can come out in different ways throughout your life that you just didn't expect. It's not about being a good writer or a polished speaker. It's about being honest with yourself. So I hope that this was helpful, and comment down below if there are other ways that you externalize your feelings in spaces with just yourself, getting comfortable with you, not hearing outside voices or trying to gain validation or trying to gain different opinions that can muddy the water, but really just sitting with yourself and what you think. Comment down below other ways that you can do this. And I hope this can expand a broader conversation on processing emotions, even when it's uncomfortable. So, hope you all have a wonderful day.